Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're gonna have an overview on keys for Escape from Tarkov and what do you want, what do you need, those kind of things. Some might be personal use, some might not be, some might be requested for a quest, some might not be, and so on. So, first thing we're going to have a look at is this document case. You can get it from Therapist level 2, I think. It's 1 lion, 1 cat and 4 horses, I believe. That's how you can get your hands on. You can probably find that here on the wiki. There we go. Therapist level 2, cat, a lion and 4 horses. You can get your hand on a document case. It's a 4x4. It can hold keys, money, it can also hold SSD, Intel folders, maps, things like that it can hold. So that's what you can find from Therapist. That's one option to store your keys. The other option is a SICC case. The SICC case you can get from Jaeger level 4 for 12 paracords, 15 white tape, 15 blue tape and 15 nails. Will give you a SICC case that can also hold money and keys and doc tags as well. So we can from players you can hold doc tags. Now I would suggest go with a document case for customs, Lighthouse probably as well, and then a mix of Interchange and Labs maybe. For so 3 doc cases I would go for, and then 3 SICC cases. 1 for reserve, 1 for shoreline and 1 for streets. Streets is a bit of a problem, as we will see later on. Why is that a bit of a problem? Because there are 35 keys. Which means that even in a SICC case with 25 slots available, you're gonna have to make some choices. So we're gonna have a look at what do I put in there. I have found 25 keys to put in there and 10 which you can leave behind, which are not that important. You're gonna feel that whole SICC case, you will not have room for anything else because we will have 25 keys in there. So that's what we will have a look at. So those are the 2 things you want to have around: doc cases and SICC cases. This document here, that's something that I made myself. You have an overview of the hideout, all of the things you need and how you need to build up these stations. Going from left to right, you can't do weapon stand 2 out of nowhere. You first have to build some other stations before you can, for instance, do that. That's what you can find on the first tab. Second tab is all hideout items and quest items that you need, either found in raid or not. I will mention it. Do you need them for hideout, level station 1, 2 or 3? And then the quests. If you need 5 for mechanic, it will say 5 times mechanic. That's what you find here. You can scroll through this. All of the items that you need for one or another quest or hideout things. And then we have the different traders where you can see the whole quest line for each of the traders. That's what you also find in this document. And then we have a tab that I made with the keys as well. So if we can start on customs, you pretty much can do with a document case for sure, because you pretty much need these over here, the customs value rooms. You have the gas station office. That one has a safe, so that's definitely something you want to have in there. Dorms 105, that is in the 2-story dorms, 110 and 114. All 3 of them have a safe, so you definitely want to have those. And then we go to 3-story dorms where we have room 204, 214, and then the marked room, which is dorms room 314. And then the Director Tarkone's office or the big red office. So those are all of those keys will have a safe. So that's 7 safe keys and a marked room. So those are definitely the ones that you want to have. Some of them, like the 114, you actually need for a quest as well, for pharmacist, I think it is, from Therapist. So 206 you need for the water quest. You can get it from a barter trade from a Therapist. So that is an option. In room 214, which is the safe room, you find a red mug, and sometimes inside the red mug you can find dorms 203. You can also find it in filing cabinets, which is neat for shaking up teller from Preport. So that is also a quest key. 220, you need to find the 220 key because you need to hand it in to Skier, and then for the next quest he will give it back to you, and then you actually have to go to room 220, which is in the 3-story dorms. But you have to find it first because before you have that quest you need to turn it into him. So you definitely need that somewhere. You can buy it on the market meanwhile. Of course, early wipe, that is something that people know. They will put it up for quite a high price. 303 is also a quest key, which you can barter trade for with therapists as well. It's needed for golden swag from Skier, I think. You need to pick up the golden Zippo and then go to the big red area and drop it up there in the trailer park portable cabin key, which he will give to you. So that's not something you need. You need that key, but he will give it. Skier will give it to you. So you just need 303. The marked room you also need for the cult part 1 or part 2, I think. So also that marked room key is needed. You need to, I think you need to place a marker there on the ground in the circle. So you actually, if you don't have the key, then you have to wait till very late in the raid and hope that somebody opened it, and then you can go in with your marker and place the marker. That's also an option. The key is quite expensive, 1-2 million, something like that. The machinery key you need for the bronze pocket watch, obviously, but you can find it in the 3-story dorms. In room 205 in the brown jacket, it always spawns there. If it's not there, that means that somebody already looted it, but it is a fixed spawn, so you can definitely find it there. The portable bunkhouse key, which is a bit hard to find this wipe. It's needed for bad rep evidence from Prepper. And people are asking quite a lot of money for it at the moment on the market, so yeah, that's definitely something you want to find. And the unknown key, which spawns on the dead body in the bush behind the garages on the RUF extraction, is also one of those keys which always is there. If you're the first one there, then it will be there. If it's gone, then somebody has looted it. And then you have a bunch of other random keys which you totally do not need. Dorms 103, 108, 118, 218, 306, 308, 315. They have some jackets in there or some duffel bags, things like that. Filing cabinet maybe in some of them. You don't need them for the quest. They do not have a real value, so you don't really need them. The factory exit key is, although it says factory, you can actually use it on customs. It opens the door between new gas and the shipyard area. It opens 2 doors there, so that's a bit of a shortcut. You don't really need it. You can jump over the wall on both sides. From the gas station, you can jump over the barbed wire. If you come from the warehouse 4 area, you can jump on the car and then over the wall. So you don't really need that key. But it also opens ZB13, which is one of the extractions, if you put the power on in warehouse 4. So the factory key is definitely something you want to have around. You also need it for a quest for mechanic, where he wants you to go to factory, because not only it works on customs, but also in factory it opens 3 exits, and also on the top one of those breach doors it actually opens. So it's definitely a key you want to have around. The gas station storage, it has 2 medbags in there, I think. The only way you need it is if you did not turn in chemical part 4 with therapist. You turn it in with Prepper or Skier, then it's one of those keys that therapist wants to regain your trust. So and it's pretty hard to find. It goes like 300,000-400,000 on the market or something at the moment. But yeah, if you have to do these regain trust quests, you lose 25 points reputation with the traders which you didn't turn it into. So if you want to restore your reputation, you're gonna have to turn in some keys to therapists. If you turned in chemical part 4 to Skier, for instance. The guard desk has a few weapon crates and a grenade case. The G desk, 2-story dorms. It's the office as you come in downstairs on your right. That's where it is. Military checkpoint key has a couple of ammo boxes. a grenade case and a loose weapon spawns, which is the checkpoint. The portable cabin key is also on the big red side. It's not on the parking, it's between the parking and the trailer park extraction. One of those cabins there. I believe it has 3 jackets that if you open that one. Other than that, not that important. And the U6 stash key is downstairs on the green room in the shipyard. There are 2 wooden doors, it opens both of those doors. A couple of weapon crates and a jacket, I think, are in there. Also not that important. That's sort of for customs. So what you want to have in your documents case is mainly the customs value rooms. 105, 110, 114, 204, 214, and then the marks room, and then gas station office and the big red office, the Director Tarkoni office, as it's called. And then you need a few for a quest. That's sort of for customs. Factory, you just want the factory exit key. You also have a pumpkin station, which has 2 doors, back door and front door, but not really anything there. You have that quest from therapist where she advises you to go there in case you need gas analyzers. I've never ever found a gas analyzer in that room, so pumpkin station is not something you really want. Just a factory key. That's it. Woods, you have the ZB14, which is an extraction. If you have that key and the smoke is up, then you can actually extract there. So ZB14, probably the only key that you need. You have the Yotota key, which opens a pickup next to the 3 cabins. Can spawn something. You can find some shotgun shells and a shotgun sometimes there, but most of the time it's just empty, so not that really important. And then you have the Sturman stash key. If you killed Sturman, he sometimes dropped the key. You actually need it. You need to turn it in for a Jaeger quest. That's for Woods, so that's pretty quickly done. And then of course you have labs. You have the keycard with the blue marking, which is only 1 use. You can buy it on the market, or Sanitar drops it sometimes. So if you kill Sanitar on Shoreline, then you sometimes drop that key. You need it for a quest. You need to do Terra Group employee for Peacekeeper requires that key. So that's something you need. And then obviously you have the entry cards for lab. You can find them on your scav if you have a decent reputation from time to time. You can also buy them from Therapist for 166,000, or on the market. It's also available. You need one of those cards to go to the labs map. It's sort of your entry card in a way. And then you have black, which you could get if you don't kill Sanitar and you complete Colleagues Part 3 from Therapist, then she actually will give you the black key card. And then you have the blue room, the green room, the red room, the violet room, and the yellow room. You could potentially get these from your scav case in Hideout. Other than that, you're probably not going to find it. They do spawn from time to time on maps, but yeah, we all know the Harry Potters are flying around, and even if it does spawn in your raid, you're probably not going to find it, because they already vacuum cleaned it out. So yeah. Loot for some money and sell some stuff, and then when you have enough money, just buy the key cards. I would say if you want to run labs and get your hands on these colored key cards, because the chances you're gonna find them pretty slim. I think I got one time a violet in woods on the checkpoint in the car, and I got one time a yellow key card on my scav, and then I think I got blue or green ones from my scav case as well. And that's it. And I haven't been playing for 6 wipes. I've never seen red. I have seen red when I bought it, but not found it anywhere. I've never found blue or green anywhere. It's usually gone by vacuum cleaned by the Harry Potters. So, and then you have the weapon arsenal, the manager's office, and the weapon testing room. Those are also in labs. Those are sort of the labs key. It's mainly about I don't know what's the good one. The black key card only spawns stims, but it spawns a bunch of stims from time to time on Ledix. So yeah, if you're the first one there, obviously you can put these stims in your stim case, in your injector case, and then even if you die, you will make it out with it. They sell for 30, 40,000, most of them, to therapists. So if you can get out there with like 10, 12 stims, yeah, that's a quick $500,000 right there. And these colored keycards, they do not have limitations. So it's not like normal keys where you can use them like 10 times or 20 or 40. No, these keycards are unlimited. Once you get your hands on it, you're good to go for the rest of the wipe. That's sort of the story in labs. Interchange, what do we need in Interchange? In our documents case, though there are not that many keys, so you can, I usually go with a documents case for labs and Interchange, because you have a few colored key cards and you have 6 or 7 keys which you potentially could use on Interchange, but that's it. Emercon, for instance, is one of them you want to have around because you need them for a quest, otherwise you're going to have to wait till somebody opens it and go in late raid and hope that somebody opened one of the doors. The Goshen cash register, you can find it in the bus on new gas station in customs, potentially. At some point you also get it from a quest reward, I think. You need to hand it over to Jaeger at some point. Jaeger or Ragman, one of those two. Once it for a quest, you need to hand it over to them. You can also just buy it on the market and hand it over. I found one the other day in a filing cabinet somewhere on streets, I think it was. The Emercom key can also be found on the new gas station in customs, in the ambulance from time to time. I found it already 2 or 3 times this wipe, so it does spawn, not regularly, but from time to time it does spawn there. Idea cash register, yeah, if you need money for the car, then those cash register keys are potentially something you could use, but I would not put it in my docs case. The key by inner door, I think you get from a quest, and so you need to get your hands on the outer door, because key by, first of all, the power needs to be on, but if the power is on, you need to open 2 doors to actually get into that store. So one of them you get from a quest, the other one you're gonna have to get your hands on. It's a barter trade with Jaeger, I think. Otherwise you're gonna have to buy it. So those 2 keyback keys I would put in. So I put in Emercom and the 2 keyback keys in my docs case. Then the key cards, number 11 and number 21. Number 11 is your way out. If the power is on, you can go to the 2nd floor burger spot in the toilet. You can swipe the toilet with that card, and that will actually open the safe room exfil down below in the underground. So that's a way out that you don't have to run to the corners of the map. And the keycard 21 opens a container on the parking outside if the power is on, and then you can find some weapons and things like that in there. So that's also something that you can put in your document case. Then from all these Ollie keys, you have administration often, not that important. You have cash register, again, if you need money for the car, yeah, you could potentially put that in, but I would not advise it. Ollie logistics, on the other hand, is something you need, because you need to do it for the Ragman quest. You need that key. Where can you find it? You can find it in the blue car on warehouse 4 in customs, in the boot. From time to time it spawns there. Also in filing cabinets. I found already 2 of them, I think this wipe in streets. But you can also find it in customs. And the Ollie utility room, not important. Pharmacy key, potentially can spawn a LEDX or an ophthalmoscope. It is downstairs on the IDEA site. If you come in from the IDEA site into Interchange, it's the room. If you just before you walk on the stairs, you go right. It's that room on the right there. Not a great key. It's it has potential to spawn a LEDX or ophthalmoscopes or whatever, but you need to open it. I think it has 20 uses, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 40, I don't know. But I never found the LEDX there, so probably also vacuum cleaned out, just like Shoreline and Interchange, or vacuum cleaner maps, which means there are some people flying around. If there is some good loot, it will be gone. Power utility is one of the cabins on the power station. Not that important. I think it's a duffel bag and a jacket or something in there. And then the Ultra Medical store is upstairs, across from Tech Light. Also there potentially can spawn all kind of medical items, including a LEDX or an ophthalmoscope or something good like that. So yeah, for our interchange I would put an Emercon, Kiba inner, Kiba outer, the two key cards, Ollie Logistics, Pharmacy, and Ultra Medical. Those were the keys that I would put in. So those are like 6 or 7 keys. You can combine that with the labs key cards, and then you have a document case. You have 16 slots there. You can put all of the labs key cards and all the interchange key cards in one document case. That will suit just fine. That's how I usually do it every wipe. So labs and interchange I put in one document case. And then customs, I put the ZB14 key there as well. So that's customs. Customs factory woods is also one document case for me. And then labs and interchange, also a document case. Then we come to Shoreline. You're not going to cut it with a document case there. You're going to have to bring a SICC case, 25 slots. Because you need some of these things. It starts with the cottage back door. You need that for a quest. I think I found one in a filing cabinet. Also, Senator sometimes drops it. It opens one of the cottages. You have a locked cottage and you have an unlocked cottage. And in the locked cottage, that's where you will have to open the door, the back door. To get in there, you need it for a quest. You need to go into that building, second floor, into the plant. There is the Senator's ophthalmoscope or something that you need to pick up. I think it's a therapist quest. And while you're in there, you can as well take the cottage safe key, because there are some safes. One of them is locked. You can open that with the cottage safe key. So those are definitely two that I would put in. The gas station safe key, you don't have to worry about it. That safe is always unlocked. So it is in the game, that key, but you don't need it. It's not worth anything. That is in the gas station with the fire. You can jump over that fire and you can reach the safe and it's always open. Maybe the intention was that they would lock it at some point, but they didn't. It's open now, so you don't need it. The power station, I think you have room for it. If you fill your things with 25 keys, you can put one in there. Then you have the management office key and the management warehouse safe keys. Both of them are in the admin building, sort of the middle of resort. I'm not sure. I don't think you need both of them. You need one of them because you need to pick up a flash drive or something in that office. So if you're there, you can as well open those safes. So those are usually those two safe keys for admin. I usually pick with me as well. Resort 107 can spawn a LEDX, I believe, which is next to 110. And that is the senator's room, which you need at some point as well for a quest. So if you are there, then you can as well take 107 with you. 108 is also around. East 108, no need. There is not even a door. It's not like you need a key. There is not even a door. It's just an open doorway. So that's definitely something you can drop if you find that thing. East 110 is the key with the blue tape. Obviously, Senator drops it from time to time. If you're really lucky, you might find it. I'm not so sure if you can actually find it on the map. I think only Senator drops it. You can, of course, buy it on the flea market as well. Then we have East 205, 206. They are connected through the balcony, so one of those two keys is fine. That's going to go for many of these Shoreline keys. They will have 2 or 3 keys. You only need one of them, obviously, because it's all connected through balconies. Then we have 209, 213, 216 East. Same story. Those are all keys that exist in the game, but they are open. They are not locked, so you can just walk in. You don't need a key. East 222 and 226. Yeah, whatever is the cheapest on the flea market, I would say. That's a pretty good room. So whatever you can get your hands on. Also those connected through the balcony. 306, 308 East, you need for a quest. Lend-Lease Part 1 and Cargo X Part 1. So both of them are needed. Whatever you have, 306 or 308, both of them will work because, again, connected through the balcony. So you only need one of these keys. East 310, it's a bit up and down. One wipe it has good loot, one wipe it doesn't have good loot. But in theory it is a good key. So East 313 or 314, not really connected to anything good. It's also not needed for a quest. But yeah, if you're doing the east wing, you can as well, if you have one of them, you can as well open the room, obviously. Same goes for East 316, not super as far as I know. 322 is again one of those keys that might be around, but it's actually open. You don't need the key, so you don't need it. And then you have East 328. It's needed for a quest, but you can also use the resort utility room, which opens the door next to it. They're connected to the balcony. And the utility room is actually a better key. Because the utility room opens not only the one next to 328, but also the one next to West 227 and West 327. So it opens 3 doors. So the utility key is a better key than the 328 key in a way. So if you have that quest for what is it, Wet Job Part 5 I think it is, you can use either 328 East or utility room. I would go for the utility room because it has more options. It opens 3 rooms, 328 only opens 1 room. West 104 is one of those cars that can spawn blue, I think, 104. And West 112 is needed for a key, and it can also spawn a key card, I think. So now we're in the west wing already. 203, 205. West, I don't think it's needed for a key, but for a quest, but it's a pretty decent key. 207, it's a key that exists, but the door is open, so not something you have to worry about. West 216 is needed for a quest, Lend-Lease Part 1 from Peacekeeper. So that's something you need to get your hands on. And then you have the triple room, 218, 221, 222 West. One of those 3 will do. Gives you access through the balcony to 3 rooms. So if you have one of those, it will do. And then 219, 220, which is needed for Spa Tour 4. So those one of those 2, 219 or 220 West. 301 is a hotspot area. It has pretty good loot. It can spawn athletics. It can spawn things like that. So and it's connected to 304. So it actually gives you access to 2 rooms. That's definitely one you will have. Where can you find it? Sometimes in the yellow bus on the tunnel. It sometimes spawns there if you're lucky. If not, you're gonna have to go to the market, and it's pretty expensive on the market. 303 is always open, so you don't need that key. But you might be able to find it, but it has no use. West 306 is also needed for, what is it, Therapists, Healthcare Part 2, I think. So you definitely need that one as well, because it is a quest key. West 309, also there, throw it away. The door is always open, you don't need that key. And then you have 321 safe. The door is open, but in the middle of the room is a safe, and you can open that with West 321. It's a safe key actually. It's not a door key. Then we have West 323 and 325 existing in the game, but the room is open, so you don't need it. Throw it away if you have it. The same goes for the store safe key. That's supposed to give access to a safe somewhere in the old village, but I don't even know where it is. I don't think it even exists, that safe. So there is a key for it, but there's no safe there. So that's another one you can throw away. And the same goes for the weather station safe key, because that safe is always open. So you don't need that key. And then you have the SMW car key, which is on the cottages. It's the red BMW, but they don't have the license for BMW, so they called it SMW. It can spawn some streamer items in the trunk of the car sometimes. So yeah, if you have room for it, you can always take it and bring it along if you are going to cottage or something like that. So yeah, a few good keys there on Shoreline, and there are a bunch of them. So you definitely need to, you probably need to make a few changes here and there. There are some good keys. There are some keys which you only need for a quest once, and that's it. So you're gonna have to make a bit of a choice there for yourself, what you want in it. You can fill it up with 25 keys, and then you have most of the good ones. 301, 104, 112. Both of the admin saves, the cottage backdoor, the cottage save, things like that. The HEPS is also a decent one. 310. I don't know, I haven't checked this wipe yet. One wipe it has really good loot, the other wipe it's pretty poor, so East 310, it's one of those things you always need to check it to see like what's going on this wipe, and then gives you a pretty good idea. So that's definitely a SICC case for Shoreline. Now we move to reserve, same story here. You're gonna need a SICC case if you often run the reserve. We have RB, yeah, all of these keys are called RB. So we have AK and AM, both of them are in Black Bishop. The reserve map, for those who are new to the game, is pretty much a bit of a chess map in a way. All of these buildings have a chess name in a way. Black Bishop, White Pawn, White Knight, Black Knight. The dome is the Queen's building, or some call it the King. Yeah, it's a bit of a dilemma, that one. AO is behind the train station. It opens a building there next to the one of the marked rooms. Also not that important. You have the RBBK. That's one of the 3 marked rooms on reserve. It's in the Black Palm building downstairs. So yeah, you can always check that. And from what I heard this wipe, the marked room on reserve are not that bad this time. Compared to last wipe where it was not great most of the time. So that's marked room is definitely something. Those 3 marked room keys is definitely something you want to put in there. RBGN is in the King building or Queen building. Yeah, it depends a bit. Some people call it King, some call it Queen. For me, the dome is Queen, and the King is a building next to the helicopter, surrounding the helicopter. You have the 2 Pawn buildings, one of the Bishop buildings, and then the King building. Then you have KORL and KPRL. Both of them are in the dome. Some have like filing cabinets. You can find some intel in there sometimes, things like that. Not that important. Quest-wise or so, you don't need them. So from those first 5-6 keys that we just went through, I would only go for the marked room, RBBK. RBKSM, yeah, you need it for therapist quest. KSM and SMP, you need both of those, which is in the medical building, which is White Bishop. So you know you need those. Then we have the Black Knight and White Knight buildings. They are the MP keys. MP 11, 12, 13, 21 and 22. Not needed for a quest, but if you are a reserve runner, they have some decent loot. So then you can put some of them in. That's up to you. RBOB is needed for inventory check from Rackman, so that is definitely one that you need. You need 4 of them actually for that quest. OB is one of them, and then the other ones are ORB1, ORB2 and ORB3. So those 4 are all needed for inventory check for Ragman. One of those usually counts if you were in the staircase, and then you actually don't need to open the, but I believe that is fixed. I'm not 100% sure. But in theory, you need those 4 keys to do that quest. RBOP is in the same building as RBGN. It's in the King building. Has some loot in there, but not needed for a quest or anything, so I wouldn't bother with that. PKPM marked room is in the control room underground. It's one of those doors there. And from what I heard, this wipe, The marked room on reserve are pretty decent, so it's probably something you want to get your hands on. It's basically under the helicopter, pretty much. What I would definitely go for if you're looking for money is RB PSP1, PSP2, V1 and V2. Those are the 4 cages underground on the hermetic door area. And this wipe, with the dynamic loot, they added a bunch of crates in there, and it was already good before. So those are definitely 4 keys that I would use in my SICC case. Some of them are decent in price on the flea market, others might be a bit more expensive. One of them has all kind of meds area things, the other one has all kind of foods and things like that. So yeah, those 4 cage keys are pretty good. RBRH, King Building again. Yeah, all those in the King Building, the GN, the OP and the RH. There is some loot in there, but they're not super keys. And then we have RLSA and RS. Again, they open rooms in the dome or one of those side buildings. So you have KORL, KPRL, RH and RLSA. Those 4 keys are all in the dome area on top of the hill. And RBRS as well. So that's 5 keys that you need for there. RBSMP, the same as KSM. Both of them are needed for disease history from therapists. So they're all in White Bishop, the medical building. And it's on the first floor. One way of the hallway is KSM, and on the other end of the hallway is SMP. Both of them you need because you need to pick up a documents folder or something there for therapist. Then you have RBST, which is a key you need for 2 quests. You need it for surplus goods. You need to pick up a device in one of those wooden crates there, and then for revision, where you have to mark the tanks. One of the tanks is inside the RBST room, so you definitely need that key. It also has a chance of spawning a tank battery, I believe, although that has been decreased over time now that that thing spawns more often on Lighthouse. RBTB is a room in the Black Pawn, not that great, but... And then we have the RBVO marked room, which is the marked room all the way in the corner of the map behind the train station. So for reserve, I would go for the 3 marked rooms. KSM, SMP because you need it for a quest. OB, ORB 1, 2 and 3 because you need them for a quest. And RBST because you need it for a quest. So I would definitely put those in. And then definitely the cages in the hermetic door area. PSP1, PSP2, V1 and V2. That definitely goes in my SICC case as well. And then I'll probably fill it up with a few of the Black and White Knight MP keys. And maybe a few dome keys, seeing we are there. One of them opens that building which has a safe. I think it's RLSA, I think. So yeah, you can fill it up with quest keys and then a few good keys. Marked rooms, RBST, and then whatever you have room for and that you want to put in there. Let's see, if we look around, marked room, that's 3, OB, ORB 1, 2 and 3, that's 7. Then we have the cages on hermetic door, that's 11. RLSA, that's 12. SMP is 13, ST is 14, so yeah, something like that. 14, 15 keys which you actually need for quests or anything like that, and then the rest you can fill up with some good keys. You can fill up a SICC case or even leave 1 or 2 spots open for some money or an intel folder or something like that. That's all possible. Lighthouse you can do with a documents case, pretty much. I don't think there are even 16 keys, so definitely don't need a SICC case for this one. Conference room, a little bit of a problem. It's on the island, so you need to do the Lightkeeper quest to actually get to the island, or you're gonna have to sort of zigzag your way through the claymores to be able to get there. The convenience store is on the store on the bridge, just before you cross the bridge to the row camp. That store there, it has one of those rooms is locked. That's the convenience store. Hillside House is a pretty decent key. It's in the old village, so you definitely want to get that one. The Marin, yeah, it's a bit of hit and miss. Sometimes it's good stuff in there, sometimes the boot is empty. That is on the mountain there, on the beach side, the red BMW again. That's the Marin car. Operating room is in building 1. You actually need it for a quest. I think it's broadcast part 1. So that's definitely something you need. On the left side of building 1, there is a police truck on the middle of the road. That's the police truck cabin key. It actually is an intel spawn. It can spawn an intel folder. It's not always there, of course, as always with intel folder spawns, but it potentially could spawn it. And you have room for it in your documents case, so if you find it, just bring it along. The radar station, just like the conference room, it's on the island, so you need to have access to the island before you can get there, and it's needed for top secret, which is a quest you only unlock once you get access to the island now. Before we could just walk over that bridge, but that's no longer the case. So you do need a radar for top secret quests. Then we have the barrack key, which is in the row camp. It's building 3. It's one of the downstairs offices there. It's a bit of a storage room. You can find some vertics and things like that, so the barrack key is not that bad. SICC stash is one of the cabins before you arrive on building 1. On the left side there, you have a couple of cabins. One of those cabins is locked. That is the SICC stash key. On the other side, before building 3, you also have a few cabins, and there you have the workshop. One of those cabins is locked. It's the workshop key. The shared bedroom marked room key is also on the island. So you need to have access to the island to get there. So that's a conference room, radar, and shared bedroom are on the island. So yeah, you need to have access to that island, otherwise those 3 keys don't really matter. And then in the chalet, blue chalet, you have in the bedrooms upstairs, you have SICC 1 and SICC 2. Both of them are safe keys. And then we have building 2 storage room, which is the water treatment plant storage room. So you have building 1 in the row camp, that's the operating room. Building 2 is the weapon treatment storage, and building 3 is the barrack. Each of these buildings have downstairs one of those doors which is locked. You need a key for it. So yeah, I would just put all of them in there if you can get your hands on it. All of them have decent to good loot. There are just 3 which you can't get your hands on. Unless you have access to that island. But all of the lighthouse keys, I would go for it. Which brings us to the last map, which is street, because terminal, town and suburbs we don't have keys yet because the maps are not out yet. Street is the big problem at the moment. Last wipe we could already almost fill a stick case. Now the map has expanded about 40% and it added 9 or 10 keys. We have 35 keys in total now. That means if you take a SICC case which has 25 slots, you're gonna have some problems. You can't put them all in there. But I did find 10 to leave out. So I will say what I would put in the SICC case. Abandoned factory marked room, definitely that goes in. You need it for broadcast part 4 as well, so it is a quest key next to the fact that it is a marked room. So that definitely goes in. The archive room is the building in the area behind post office and check 15. That building with all the filing cabinets. That one goes out. It has a safe, but it is locked, and it has a filing cabinet, and that's it. So that is definitely one of the 10 keys that you can leave behind. The aspect key is the building next to the car dealer. If you want to enter it from the front through the red door, you need the aspect key. That gives you access to that building and to that whole car dealer area without having to deal with too many of the bus guards in case they are there. So there, you can sort of sneak in there with that if you have the aspect key. That's also why it's going for a few $100,000 on the market. It's a bit of a shortcut to get to that area. So that definitely goes in. The Beluga restaurant is across the road from the Pinewood Hotel. On the corner there in the Klimov area. That's where the Beluga restaurant is. On the 3rd floor is the director's office. That's what that Beluga key is. And on that same floor you also have the elevator extraction. So yeah, if you want to extract there, you can as well open that office. There is I think some loose loot, some gold spawns, filing cabinet, also a computer I think. So yeah, there is some loot in there. So that definitely goes in there. The car dealer closed section key, yeah. You need that to get to the office, which you need for a quest. I think it's about 1.5 million at the moment. The reason for that is it's only dropped by Caban, the new boss. That's your only way of getting that key. Unless you're really lucky to find it in a jacket or a filing cabinet here or there, but not likely. I think it only dropped by Caban. Or you can loot up and sell some stuff and buy it on the market. It's about 1.5 million at this moment when I'm recording this video. Definitely goes in, and the same goes for the office key, which you will get as a reward from one of the quests. So you will get the office key, but to get to that office you need that closed section key as well. So yeah, otherwise you can't do that quest. Your car needs a service, I think the quest is. So Cheknaya 13, the mysterious marked room. That is the new marked room. Obviously you want to have it in your SICC case. Cheknaya 15 is also still a really good key. Probably the most expensive at the moment. I don't know what the price is at the moment, but it has been going for 4 or 5 million most of last wipe and also beginning of this wipe. So that is obviously in the Czech 15 building. The cinema is in the Concordia, apartment 8. There are 3 rooms there. Cinema, Concordia 8 and Concordia 34. It's all in the same apartment. Pretty much 3 doors next to each other. So yeah, definitely in. All of these Concordia keys are definitely going in. So Concordia 8, 34, 63, 64, 64 office and security. All of those Concordia, just put them in your SICC case. They're all good, they all have good loot. High value loot, so definitely put them in. The construction site bunkhouse key, that is one of the bunkhouses on the collapsed crane, not important. It has 2 jackets, a duffel bag and a med crate, I think. So that one can definitely go out. The same goes for the container cargo mesh key. That is inside the car dealer area. It's that metal gate in one of the containers. There are some weapon parts and a grenade case, I think. It's too much fuss to even get to that room or to that container, so especially if the boss is around. I wouldn't bother with that key. And that's also, we need to get 10 keys out of from these 35, because otherwise our SICC case, we don't have room for it. So that's another one that goes out. The financial keys, office and financial small office, I would definitely put in. Small office has a safe, 2 computers, a couple of filing cabinets, and the office upstairs has 5 computers and a duffel bag. So I would definitely put those 2 in. I would not put the hideout key in my SICC case, because you can find the hideout always on the map. It is in a duffel bag in the corner across the road from car dealer towards the theater site. If you cross the road from car dealer and then go left in the corner there, a bit of a storage room, and there is a duffel bag. The hideout key always spawns in there. So it's a fixed spawn, which means you don't need to put it in your SICC case. Whenever you need it for 1 quest for Lightkeeper, I think, you can always pick it up. The Iron Gate key is in the Czech 15 building. That's definitely something. It spawns a bit of streamers items and some stims and things like that. If you're lucky, a Bitcoin. So definitely something you want to put in. It has 40 uses, but it opens 4 or 5 of those gates. So yeah. The teacher's office you can just leave behind. It just found some. It's in the new area. It's the school area, the blue building. There is a bit of a gym there, and that office is the teacher's office. But it also it only spawns food. So that's another one that can go out. We don't want it in our SICC case. Pinewood Hotel room 206 and 215. Both of them are needed for quests, so you definitely need those. The Skybridge key, also that one I would not put in my SICC case because it has a fixed spawn in the bar. The Zemetsky area, people know where the bar is by now. That Skybridge key always spawns there. If it's gone, that means that it's looted by some other player, because normally it always spawns there. Primorsky 48, that's another one that can go. Has a bit of an angle on the area in the middle between Pinewood and Car Dealer, where you have that convoy there that got downed. But other than that, there's a bit of loose loot, but nothing great. So that can also go out. The stairs key, yeah, that's also a bit double. Previous wipe you needed. If you opened check 15, then you could open the stairs key and just jump down, and that was your way out in case somebody was holding the bottom floor of the apartment. This wipe, it is less important for the simple reason that you can jump through the windows now. So you can go back from check 15 and go to the staircase, the other staircase, which you have to breach the door, and you can jump out from the window there. Then you don't need that staircase. So there are other ways out now, seeing the windows have been opened in that building. It's still a good key to get out of there if you want, but it's the only thing that it does. It opens a door to give you an extra exit in a way. And seeing you can jump through the windows now, it's not that important anymore compared to last wipe. If somebody was holding downstairs, then you had to go back out that way. Then the stairs key was your way out, but not needed this wipe. Seeing you can jump through the window. The Sparia store, which is next to the Car Dealer, across from the road from Cheknaya 15. The manager office upstairs. It has a computer, a safe, a duffel bag, and a couple of filing cabinets. Seeing it has a safe, it's a pretty cute key to have, so we will put that in our SICC case. The supply department office key, which is in the building next to the Car Dealer, with all the filing cabinets, which also is the aspect key downstairs. That's that same door. The supply department key is upstairs. It has a safe which is locked, and it has a couple of filing cabinets. Not important. Throw it out. We don't need it. The Tarbank cash register key, it's going 50,000-60,000 on the market. It has it opens 2 doors in the Tarbank regional office, which is also across the road from Car Dealer on the Cheknaya side. Each door has a cash register and a safe. You can get somewhere between 50 and 100,000 converted to rubles, because you will find rubles, USD and euros. But somewhere between 50 and 100,000 you find every time you open those 2 doors. It has 40 uses, 2 doors, so you can use it 20 times in a way. You will get somewhere between 2 and 2.5 million, and the key is going 50, 60, 70,000 on the market something, so definitely worth picking up. Also a good way in case you want to take the car and you forgot some money. A good way to get money is in the Tarbank, so definitely put that one in. The Terra Group Security Armory key, I would put it in. It has a grenade case, a bunch of weapon crates, a computer, some good weapon parts as well. You can find like some really good suppressors and things like that. So yeah, would definitely put it in. And if you are in that building, you can as well take the Terra Group meeting room, which has a Intel folder spawn on the table. A gold spawn in general, because it also spawns chainlets and horses and things like that. So, and that is next to the Cardinal Hotel across from Beluga. You have the Terra Group building with next to it the Cardinal, and on the other side of the road you have the Beluga restaurant. So the new area there. The X-Ray, it spawns some stims. It's the small building behind the school in the new area. You have the blue building, which is the school that's sort of the middle of that new area. And behind that is a smaller building, and that's the polyclinic. If you go upstairs and then left, and then it's the second door on the right. It opens a door, and then there is another door, which is the X-ray key. And in there is a filing cabinet, and then a couple of medical spawns. You potentially could find some samples, stims and things like that there. We have room for it in our SICC case, so that's like the last key we put in there, because both of these Zemisky apartments, Zemisky 3 apartment 8 and Zemisky 5 apartment 20, we will not put in our SICC case. They just have some duffel bags, some jackets, not that important stuff. So if we look on the street keys, there are 35. The archive, put it out. Let's see. Construction, so that's the second one that we do not put in there. Container, also get that one out, that's 3. Hideout, you don't need it because you can always pick it up, it's always on the map, so that's 4. Teacher's office only spawns food, so I would throw that out as well, so that's 5. Skybridge key you can always pick up in the bar, so don't need it in your SICC case, that's 6. Primorsky 48, also not a great key, so throw it out, that's 7. The supply department has a safe, but it's locked, so not important, just throw it out, that's 8. And then we have the 2 Zemevsky keys, apartment 3, apartment 8 and apartment 20. Those are 9 and 10. So that is 10 keys that we found that we do not need, which leaves us with all the other 25 keys, which just fit in our SICC case. So that's sort of how I go about it. So put everything in that you see on this list, except for archive, that's 1, get it out. Construction, container, hideout, teacher's office, Skybridge, Primorsky 48, supply, and then both of the Zemevsky rooms. That's 10 keys, leave them behind, not a problem. And then you have 25 keys, a full SICC case of keys, but all the others will have decent to good loot. Some of them have great loot even, so yeah. And it's a bit random. One time, for instance, the Concordia buildings. One time Concordia 34 will not have much. The next raid it might have a lion and a Bitcoin. It's all possible. So you definitely, those 7 Concordia keys are a pretty good loot run already. If you can get there and it's not looted yet, you loot those 7 Concordia keys and you get out in the behind it in the crash site with the helicopter. It's your extraction. So definitely ways to go. If we look at that, for instance, on a map, let me see if I can find it. Streets, let's see where we can find a map. So to give you an idea what's going on where. Let's have a look on the 3D map maybe. So yeah, you have that whole Concordia area over here. This whole area here, so we have the cross site right behind it. So if you somewhere, some way or another can make it to here, you have 7 keys in that Concordia building. You have 64, 64 office, 63, 34, 8 and cinema. Here in building 3, that's where 64 and 63 are. And then over here in building 2 is cinema 8 and 34. And then underground you have security. And you can come, after looting security, you can come out from the back here, from the underground section, and go to crash site and you just extract. So that's definitely an area where you want to have all the keys. This bunkhouse over here, that is the construction. We'll just leave that behind. You don't need that key. This Paria store, that's where the office is. You definitely want that. Car dealers. Yeah, here you have that whole car dealer area. Somewhere in the middle, I think it is. Where is the container? So that's too much fuss to get there. It's that middle container, or under the word winefield here. That middle container, that's where the container is. It's too much fuss to get there, and it's not that important. It has a weapon, 2 weapon crates and a grenade case, I think. So we'd throw that off. And then we have building 56 here. That is the supply department. So you can also throw that key away. I would take the aspect key, because you can come from the front here over the parking and go in through that aspect, which means you don't have to deal with all what is happening here. You can sneak in through this door here. So aspect key definitely I would take, but not a supply from upstairs. That's no needed. And if you cross that road here, you have all that grass stuff here in the corner there. That's where you will find that little storage where the hideout key always spawns. So that's definitely something you can always pick up, so you don't also need that one. And then we have over here the tar bank. That's over there. And then we have Cheknaya 15 building. That's where you have the iron gate, the stairs key, and the Cheknaya 15. So definitely put those 3 in. And then we have the new Cheknaya 13 marked room. But you have to go through here, left, behind the vet clinic, and then you can go through a window here somewhere. That's how you get to the Cheknaya 13 marked room. So you have to go from the back. There is no way in from the front, as far as I know. And then you have the school over here. That's where the teacher's office is. Not that important. And this small building over here is the polyclinic. That's where you have the X-ray key. 2nd floor. So you can definitely pick that one up. If you're checking the Check 13 marked room, then you can also pick up some stims on the X-ray and before you get out. Now we have this whole area here. Primorsky 48 you can leave behind. Pretty much. Then we have the Zemevsky areas. 5 and 3 you can drop it. Just on the other side of 3, that's where the bar is, where you can find the Skybridge key. Skybridge is over here. So that's sort of that whole area where you can find those keys. And then we have the new area here with the Terra Group building. That is this one. That's where you find the armory and the meeting room. Both keys are in that small building. And then across the road on the corner here, we have the Beluga office. Upstairs, it's a restaurant, and you have to go to the 3rd floor. That's where the office is, in one corner next to the kitchen. And on the other corner, you have the elevator, which is actually an extraction. So that's the Beluga key. If you, for instance, have that extraction, you can always check that room. You have to go to that 3rd floor anyway. Pinewood, we have 206, that's on the 2nd floor, obviously. Room 206 and 215, needed for a quest. They also opened the 3rd floor now, so there is some more loot in there. But as far as I know, we do not have any keys with locked doors or something there. You can loot these, most of them are open. But it's something new this wipe. They have opened the 3rd floor of the hotel. And then over here, we have Nikita Bar on the corner here, and across Nikita Bar on the Nikiatskaya Street, you have this small building here. That's where the finance and finance small keys are. That's over here. And then the factory area where we have the factory marked room. What do we have left then is the hideout. You can pick it up here across from Alexos in that corner. You can pick up the hideout key, and the hideout key itself is on the theater. You have these stairs here, it's on this side, under the stairs is a door, and that is the hideout key. You need it very late for a Lightkeeper quest. So you need to pick up that hideout key and then go into that hideout and pick up some stuff there and bring it to Lightkeeper or something like that. But that one also spawns always on the map, so that's not something you put in your SICC case, because whenever you need it you can pick it up. Even as a scav, you know, if you don't have like such good loot. Inside that room is also a gold spawn. It can spawn a Bitcoin or a streamer's item or something like that, or a lion or a cat. So if you are scavving around, you can always check that duffel bag to see if the key is there, and then you can also on your scav loot it. The same goes for Skybridge, which very often upgrades your scav runs. And talking about scav runs, they have been fixed from today on. So you should be able to scav on streets now, which means we can make a bit more millions. It's a bit of a problem this wipe. I think I'm up to 3 million now or something. Normally 1 month into a wipe I'm usually somewhere between 25 and 30 million. But not being able to scav on streets costed us a few millions. That is definitely a thing. But it should be fixed from today on. So that is a bit... I've done a video already with all the new keys where I actually walk around on the map. So I thought I will update my key list and make a quick video about it. And that's sort of what we did here. So you can always check it. I will post obviously the link into the description of this document. So you can find in the key section here, which is the third tab on the bottom here, you will find all these keys. It will explain a bit where it is, where you can find it. If you need it for a quest, it will say which quest it is that you need it for, things like that. And that goes for all the keys. And I think we have it up to date at the moment. Was a bit of work, but we got it done. Terminal, probably the next map that comes out, I'm assuming. Seeing they had so many issues with streets, I would surprise me if they bring the third expansion in December. I don't know. Something tells me they're not going to do that. Which already Nikita kind of suggested at Gamescom. But we would know that they have been working on Terminal as well. And he mentioned some other stuff. So what I think that's going to happen is they're going to expand Shoreline with that terminal area. On the custom side there, you have that terminal. I think they're going to open that. Sort of like you have row camp in Lighthouse. I think they're going to open that terminal area and it will be bear friendly. So whoever is defending that, the Black Division or whatever, they will be more bear friendly and they will be more hostile against USEC. And so then you can go into there, which probably brings in a few new keys and also will make Shoreline a bit more interesting, that it's not just resort anymore. And that also connects that terminal will... that CCP or whatever it's called, that will connect that railway bridge. If you cross that bridge, that's where terminal will be. And that's probably the next map that they will bring. Will they bring that in December? Probably not. Maybe. I think we're going to get the Shoreline expansion in December, and then the next patch probably terminal. And then meanwhile they can work on streets. We know there are 2 more expansions coming for streets at least. But I don't think it's going to... Normally it was planned that we get the third expansion in December with the new wipe. But there were so many issues with this expansion that I think they're probably going to postpone it. That's my guess. As for now, this was the keys. So you can find all the keys here. And I sort of told you what I would put in a SICC case or in a documents case. So documents case for customs and woods and factory. That's 1 documents case. A documents case for labs and interchange. That's 2. Shoreline, I would go for a SICC case. Reserve, I would go for a SICC case. Lighthouse, you can do with a dock case. So that's 3 dock cases and 3 SICC cases, because obviously also for streets you need a SICC case. And then you should be able to get all the keys in there. 3 dock cases and 3 SICC cases with all the keys. And I've mentioned which 10 I would leave out for streets. And the other 25 I would just put in. That will be it for this one. An update on the keys, which keys that I put in SICC cases and doc cases and so on. That will be it for this one. We play some more EFT obviously in the upcoming days, and from next week on we will switch it up as well with the Crew Motorfest, which will release on the 14th of September, unless you have early access like I do. Seeing we have pre-ordered Ultimate Edition, we have access on the 11th, 3 days earlier. So we'll obviously we will mix it up from that moment on. We will do some The Crew Motorfest and some Escape from Tarkov. I will see you guys then. As for now, thanks for watching. Bye bye.